Hi everyone, Paul Fantastic Scale Modeler. Welcome to another model kit review. Something out the norm for me. I don't normally review second-hand or out of production kits. The only reason is, for me, most of the time I think that if you guys can't get it, then to be honest, what is the point in reviewing it? It might be a bad way of looking at it, but for me, I think it's a bit of a tease to see a kit, think, oh, I really like that, and then realise you've either got to pay an absolute arm and a leg for it, or you can't get it. Because I've found that case many times myself. But this is something I want to build for quite some time. It's an old Tamiya kit. It's at long out of production. It's getting really hard to find now. It's going to be a real rare kit, and it fetches really good money online. A lot of the time you see it on eBay, and it'll push £100+ easy for a kit that probably cost £20 when it was new. It's Eggenberger Ford Sierra RS500 Gr.A, which is a Gr.A touring car. Now, I am a huge Fast Four fan. I know a lot of people in the UK are. A lot of the Americans might think, oh, the Fords, blah blah blah, and you guys got the Mustang. But in the UK, we had these cars, which were your typical family cars, etc., which for motorsport reasons need to be homologated, which basically means they were taken to be raced. They had to make 5,000 road-going versions of them. They had to be sold. Well, they didn't have to be sold, but they were offered to the public for sale. And you got a car that was, you know, had some line to the actual motorsport car itself. So these things raced, and they did dominate a lot of the races in the mid to late 80s. Touring cars, I know they did well in Australia. And like I say, to get your typical family car, what Americans would call a sedan, and they really took them to town, souped them up, turbocharged engines in them. They became classic, iconic cars. And you'll hear a lot of UK guys talk about the old Fords with quite a bit of passion. I've loved these things from when I was a kid. I grew up watching these things driving by, racing on the TV. Right back to the Mark 1, Mark 2 Escort of the 70s, late 60s, 70s, through the Mark 3s. I've owned a couple of Mark 3 Escorts myself, a couple of Mark 4s, right through the Sierras, Escorts, and even some of the newer Focus are still RSs. Now, like I say, to produce the race car themselves, I'm going to waffle on a little bit, so if you don't hear this, skip ahead. To produce these race cars, they had to be homologated, so 5,000 were offered to the road. They were produced, released, and then you could go and use that chassis as a base to build the cars they wanted to. That went one step further. RS, which is Ford's Rally Sport division, motorsport division, they took 500 of these cars, homologated these versions for the road, so it was a higher power version of the standard Sierra Cosworth, and they sent this to Tickford, which is a UK tuning company, Aston Martin Tickford, and they produced this car, which was pushing, I think it was originally, the original Sierra Cosworth, which I'll show you a picture of, which is that. That was the road-going version in my favourite colour, Moonstone Blue. They were 204 brake horsepower, 2 litre, 16 valve, twin cam, turbocharged engine. I think it was the YBB engine, the red top. They then released those to the public. They sold quite well. Then this was sent to Tickford, who souped it up. They put off the top of my head, had a different intercooler, bigger turbo, etc, etc. I think that took the horsepower up to 370. That was then raced. Didn't do too well, had a few problems. Wasn't quite powerful enough, had weak drivetrain and weak gearbox. So again, it was looked at again, and I think the power, it went up. I think it was at least another 100 horsepower. So off the top of my head, they were pushing 500 horsepower. And from that day, that was it. They absolutely dominated. I think they won the first 6 races in a row at the end of that season after losing at the beginning. So that was it. The name became synonymous with motorsport. Cosworth is a German, I'm pretty sure it's a German engine manufacturer. And they've got a long lineage with Ford, right back to GT40, the Formula 1 cars of the 60s and 70s. And a lot of this engine powered a lot of fast cars through the 80s. Part of the rules from Cosworth was that Ford had to take 15,000 engines. Ford wanted 180 horsepower in the road car, and 300, I think it was 300 or 270 in the actual homologated car itself. Cosworth came back saying, no, we want 204 horsepower in the road car and subsequently more power in the race car. So a little bit of history there, a bit boring, but like I say, I do know my old fast forwards quite well. And like I say, while people, especially in the UK, you'll know what I mean, a lot of the young lads had pictures of Lamborghinis on the wall and Ferraris. This was the car I loved. The all 3-door Cosworth, the Series 1 Escort, loved them with a passion, great cars. I hope somebody one day brings out a Series 1 Escort kit, that would be beautiful to see. Waiting on that Bell Kit Mark 1 as well. So, bit of waffle, but that's it. I got this kit. If you saw the event store end, I talked about it a little bit, but I'll go into it now as well, just to make it complete, because I plan to build this. So, you'll see the review, then might have to bench build, and then come back and we'll see how we've built up. Like I say, hard to find kit. I've been looking for one for ages, but they were going for between £100 and £150, which is crazy money. Purely and simply because it's such a rare kit. I found this one on eBay. It's got a water damage box. As you can see, it is absolutely hammered. Subsequently inside, the decals got destroyed. They've got mould all over them. They're just absolutely ruined. The kit itself is perfect, still bagged, all brand new, not a problem whatsoever. And I picked the kit up online for, I think it was £40, which to me was a bargain. I'm not going to build the box, so I couldn't care less about the box. The decals are a little bit of a problem. My mate Matthew, who's another massive old school Ford fan, he put me on to possibly, I haven't seen them since, the last set of Texaco Shunko decals from Hobbylink Japan, and I bought them for £10 delivered, and they are perfect. So I've got brand new decals, which you'll see in a bit, and the whole thing cost me 50 quid, so I was very happy with it. I've got a battered box, which is a bit of a shame, because it's a collectible box, and it just showed that iconic Eggenberger RS500. So there we go, there's the waffle. Like I say, I'm not a fan of doing all kits, certainly not ones with battered boxes, but I haven't got a choice. This is something I really want to build. I've wanted to build it for quite some time, and I'm gonna take the jump and build it. So there we go. Like I say, front of the box, that iconic Texaco car. Anybody who's a motorsport fan in the 80s will remember these cars. They were absolute iconic cars back then. Same with the Mobile RS Escorts, etc., and the Michelin ones. People just remember them. Got great art on the side of the box, as you can see. Front, back, side profile with that beautiful whale tail on the back for downforce, and then a picture of the real thing, which I'll show you on top there, like so. We'll go around the box actually, show another camera for some reason. So there's a top view, a real picture of the real thing, front of the box, and side and front and rear. Now these came with a standard with the whale tail at the back. This was for extra downforce because the Sierra was a bit flighty at speed, and then the RS500 had the lower lip, so you can normally spot an RS500 by that lower lip, although some people do add them. The magnesium alloy Gr.A wheels on them. I think they're the difference from Gr.A to the standard Cosworth, different interior and what have you, but I'm not going to get into all that. So, like I say, battered box, absolutely battered. Inside, we are perfect. What I'll do is I'll get rid of the crap first. There's the the old Tamiya decals, which, to be honest, it's a 1989 kit. These would have felt a bit anyway, but they got absolutely destroyed by mould, so they can go in the bin. Well, they won't, they'll be kept. We've got instructions, we've got the aftermarket decals from Shunko, which is a lifesaver, because without that we'd have a road going car. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bags of sprues, and 1 mouldy set of important information regarding the kit. So we've got the body, we've got those lovely Gr.A chrome wheels, which will be de-chromed when I build it. We've got all the clear parts, typical Tamiya one piece for all the windows of the car. We've got the tyres, slicks, obviously, because it's a racing car, with the polycaps in there and the centre hub pins. And then we've got the cockpit, the cabin tub, the chassis, the seat, etc. Very, very minimalistic car. Not much inside these things at all. So it's not going to take long to build, and I will probably add a few bits to this. So what we'll start with, I'll move all the interesting bits out of the way. We'll start with the main sprue. Now, like I say, this is a rare kit. It's been cap sealed for all this time, but sod it. they're made to be built, and I've wanted to build this for such a long time. Didn't have the confidence, if I'm honest. After doing the Aventador, my confidence is up, and we will give it a whirl. So, where should we start? Let's start on this one. So, we've got the main interior tub. So, this has got floor well detail in it. Obviously, the back end of the car, the front end, we've got simulated door cards in there as well. Compared to that Oshima kit, this is not going to be anything on par of it. It's an old Tamiya kit, so it's going to be really not as well detailed at all. We've got a dashboard. Looks like the iconic dashboard to the Sierra to me. I'm not sure if we get dials or not. I'll have to look through those decals. I haven't noticed, to be honest. Yes, you do get an instrument panel. We've got the lower half of the drivetrain. Yeah, you can see through the front. So we've got no engine, so it's a curbside kit, but you can't open it up anyway, so it doesn't matter. So we've got the lower half of the transmission, lower half of the engine, dashboard, exhaust. We've got a differential, it looks like. Transmission, differential, prop shafts. These are two-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive cars. We've got a beautiful seat. I think, top of my head, it was Sparco. I think it was a Sparco seat. Can't quite remember. Suspension components, tie rods, etc. Anti-roll bar. And it must have some workable steering on it as well. So that's a nice touch. Now the seat I'm going to talk about, although I'm reviewing it, I'm going to build this as well, so I'm going to go into it. The seat I'm probably going to flock, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it was a black seat. I've got a feeling some of these were red as well though. Can't remember now, but we will flock it. If we don't flock it, we'll spray it in that Mr. Hobby Suck colour that gave the texture of that carpet on the Aventador. And what I'll probably do is try and spray it wrong, so it's at a higher pressure, so it does go really gritty. Sorry about that. My bloody messenger going up. Should have turned it off. In fact, I will. Excuse me 1 second. Not very professional, but we'll shut it up. There we go. What was I saying? Yeah, so if we don't flock it, we will figure out getting some texture on there, and I will be buying harnesses for it. I was originally going to build this for the Tamiya group build on the forum, but I'm not building this, not adding extras to it. It's too nice a kit, so I'll build a Ferrari F40 for that one instead. But like I say, we'll flock it, add some 6-point harnesses, and any other detail parts we can find. But it's an old Tamiya kit. The moulding's not the greatest. The detail's okay. It's all crisp. There's no flash. It's exactly what you expect from Tamiya. But there is very little in there detail-wise. Now we've got the chassis itself. So you've got the wheel, room in the back for the spare wheel. We've got underbody detail, which isn't too bad actually. To be fair, there is a bit of detail there. Also, you'll see that drivetrain coming through as well. So that can all be painted up as well, so that's no problem at all. We've got brake discs, which don't have a lot of detail on them. I'm going to assume on this thing they may have been drilled and that, but to be honest, it's a moot point anyway, because you can't see a thing through those wheels, so they'll be left. We've got hubs and the steerable components there as well. Nice, iconic steering wheel, the RS500, a 3-point wheel. Gear shifter, back in the day when they were actual, I'm assuming it'd be a 5-speed gearbox, not a sequential box back then. And yeah, details not too bad actually, it's not a lot worse, but you can see how far these newer kits, these new Japanese car kits come compared to that Aventador. But again, no problems there. So they're the main two sprues, so the interior and whatnot isn't going to be too demanding at all. Shouldn't take too long. Obviously it's a Gr.A spec touring car, so there's no full interior, there's only one seat. But there'll be a few extras to add, and we'll get to those as and when we're needed. Next up we've got the wheels, which we'll get to in a minute. Other body components, we have roll cage. So we've got the back part here, and then the front bars down. We've got the prop shaft for the drivetrain transmission. We'll come in and have a closer look at these. So there's the anti-roll bar. There's the roll bar. So the rear sections at the front. Got the prop shaft between the gearbox and differential. We've got the rear whale tail spoiler and the lower boot lid spoiler as well, and the racing mirrors as well. Special to this car. away from the road going vehicle. So there's that again, all beautifully crisp. There are some burr marks on there. That's, you know, could be from the box itself where it's been stored. As you can see, with the box, it's not been very well looked after in its life. But again, crisp parts. We got oh god, was that a fuel? I forget now. My memory's letting me down. This. It's a fuel something or other. Oh, it's a fuel pump. No, it can't be. I don't know. I forget now. But anybody knows, put in the comments. Let myself down now. So that's that. We've got these beautiful wheels, which is almost a shame to de-chrome them because the chrome is very nice actually. That's going to be a case of looking at the real car and seeing how shiny those rims are. I've got a sneaky suspicion that some of these Gr.A's, no, this one doesn't, some of the Gr.A's had a gold centre as well. But for Tamiya chrome, that is actually really nice. But will it look realistic? I don't know. But certainly no problem there with that. Absolutely stunning. If not, we'll clean them off and we'll paint them in the appropriate colour. We've got the mirror glass there as well. So we've got two different types of mirror. Do we get two different types of mirror with the kit? I don't think so. Because that is a separate sprue. No. Oh yeah, we do. There we go. So we do get standard mirrors as well. Unusual because Tamiya never released a standard car. Oh. But they are in there. So you could make a road-going version if you wanted. It'd be tempting. The car originally only came in 3 colours. Black, white and moonstone blue. The majority of them are black. I think there's 500 of the RS500s were... so like 490 were black, 56 white and 52 blue. They were all right-hand drive and they were all released in the UK because that was the market they thought they'd do well in. So... they're nearly all right-hand drive and nearly all over here. It looks how many are left now, but those wheels are great. So a little bit of research in them. We'll see just how they look in the real life. So polycaps and the centre studs. Again, no bolts on these. One big stud to lock them up. So again, nice little touch. And the tyres. We'll just grab one. I'm going to look at all 4. So racing slicks, no detail on them at all. There were decals with the kit, but they've been destroyed. I don't know, aftermarket sheet. Nope, but we'll be able to get something for them. Be able to get either aftermarket decals or a stencil. So there's a seam to get out the middle. Fairly easy to do. I think the typical trick is to freeze them and then sand them off. So again, not much to look at there. The racing slicks. So that's that. The body shell itself, which I'm going to be very careful of. Don't get any marks on this at all. So there we go, the typical 3-door Sierra shape, based on the Sierra XR4i, but given wide arches, different front grille, so that'll be intercooled to work. And for me, it's just an iconic shape. I owned a Sierra back in the early 90s, and one of the best cars I've owned. It was a great car. And yeah, so any flaws on the body, any seams? Let's have a little look. Nope. All looks good to me. Nice and clean and very, very crisp. I have a slight seam down that bonnet. Excuse my fingernail, look at that. Sorry, Hendrik. There's a slight seam on that body, but we'll soon get that off with a bit of wet and dry, a bit of micro mesh. Other than that, it's a very, very clean car. Now, what we can see on the roof is the outline for the sunroof. Can you see that? There's the edge. There's the other one. Now, I'm going to guess, although the Sierra chassis did come with them, would they have been welded up on the motorsport car for rigidity? So if that's the case, that will be sanded off as well, but we'll look into that further and all. And then around the back, you've got the fuel filler either side. So I think you can replace those with metal parts as well. And onto the back end, get to focus. So you've got straps for the boot, and we've got bonnet pins for the bonnet as well. Now whether we're going to keep those and paint them up, or you can get aftermarket for them, I do not know. We'll look into that. Those iconic bonnet louvers for keeping the engine cool. and they do go right through as well, so absolutely superb. So yeah, a very, very clean, typical Tamiya car body, nice and crisp, clean. I can't see any seam lines on there apart from those few. Is that a marker for the side? I'll have to look into this because there are marks on it. Got the sunroof, we've got that line down the bonnet, and there's a line down the side. See it there? Whether we need to get rid of it or not, but we'll look into that, like I say. So let's go back in its bag. Keep that safe. I will rebox all this once I've been through the review, and we will put it all back in its box safe. Hope to start it fairly soon. I've got a few little things I want to move out of the way, but once we do, we will. Okay, so yeah, clear parts are very nice and clear. It's got a fingerprint on there. There's a mark in the centre, but it does have a central wiper. So again, whether that's supposed to be there, it's not a crack. I don't know what it is actually. No, it's not a crack. It might be a scratch. Maybe you can see it or not. There it is there. Right there. You can see it under my hand there. So it's right in the centre. A bit weird. Again, we'll look into that. It's in the rear window actually. My bad. Not the front. We'll look into that though. See what else there is. Front screen's nice and clean, and the sides again. What have we got on there? Is it a mark? Yeah, we've got a few marks on there. The buffer will get them off. UMP buffer will clear them off. Headlight lenses, rear tail light, and indicator lenses. Typical Tamiya clear parts, nice and crisp, so no problem at all there. And that is all the sprues. So what, 6 in total? So hardly any at all. I've got these lovely Shunko decals. Never used them before, but never heard a bad word said against them. I haven't even opened these up to look at them. So first time I've opened them up to look. So they are nice looking decals. So we've got those, and the instrument panel, which is just stuck to the sticky part. Not great. So we'll have a look at the instrument panel first. So we've got small country flags for the back window, I assume, and the rev counter, speeder decal for the centre console as well. As you see, nice quality decals, hardly any carrier film on there. Glossy as well, which isn't a problem. And then on to the decals themselves. So we've got the call out for the decals, so certainly plenty on there, not a huge amount. It does also show the Pirelli on the wheel. See it right there, that's what we need to get. So we're going to have to look for that because they're definitely not on there. Just thought they'd give you a ribbon. That's a bit strange, but never mind. So yeah, there's a few of them there. There's not a massive amount, but definitely something to test. But the decals themselves, can I zoom out to be zoomed in? Yeah, there we go. Let's zoom out and back in a little bit. Decals themselves are very nice quality. There's not an excess of carrier film, like I said, it's just about perfect, so that's not going to give us any trouble at all. And overall, they look like they're going to be absolutely lovely decals to lay down. I've never used them before. I've seen people use them, but personally I've not used them, so hopefully you shouldn't have any trouble. The worrying thing with this is we're going to have to, and I will test it before I do it. Once we get the black down and we're happy with it, it'll be Hero Boy car paint lacquer again. So we shouldn't need to gloss before the decals, but we've got a gloss on top, so we need to make sure that the gloss doesn't eat the decal. So that'll be a worrying part. I'm not going to use the 2-pack stuff this time. We're going to use the 1K stuff, which is a bit safer and not as nasty a chemical to use. So we'll certainly be using that this time. Hopefully it gets good a shine. If not, we can always go over. I think you can go over it with the 2K. We'll see. But I'm going to try and stay clear of that 2K. As good as it is, it's a nasty chemical, and I want to avoid using it. But yeah, these are money well spent, because like I say, those things are shot, and although they do look a bit more vibrant, a colour on the Tamiya sheet, I don't know if they actually are, but yeah, they're there. So hopefully we shouldn't have any problem at all. Just looking at the differences. Yeah, they're all there. Just looks like there's more on this one for some reason. I'm not sure why. Because they are all there. Bit weird. But they are there anyway. Like I say, all we're missing is the wheel ones, the tyre ones, so we will get a set of those from somewhere. Like I say, I'll be back with another bench update before I start it, or just after I start it. We'll pick up some aftermarket, we'll show the bits we've got, and we'll come back and start building. Hopefully it'll be pretty soon. I've got a few things I want to try and get sorted first, and to the next step, and but I plan to try and have a car build on the go all the time now, so hopefully we'll have different types of builds each time, so a bit of armour, aircraft and a car as well, just for a bit of difference. There you go, old kit, certainly a battered one, probably not of relevance to a lot of you guys, but I know the UK still got a huge amount of old 4 fans, so hopefully it'll appeal to a few of you, and hopefully the build will turn out nice and we can do a good job of one of my favourite and most iconic cars ever made. So there we go, thanks for watching, Paul from ISM, I'll catch you around and I'll see you soon.